The comedian and author David Walliams said recently that he'd bought a Bible intending to read it cover to cover. But, he says, while in Genesis, I found myself flicking all the way to Revelation to see if there was a happy ending. Sadly, he says, there isn't. Well, for me, as someone who believes that the message at the heart of the Bible is good news, the actor's comments are a real challenge, reflecting the concerns of an age which has become less and less familiar with the story. Unlike David Walliams, I often find myself reading the Bible the other way around. The amazing stories of the life of Jesus and the early church inspire me to mine the seams of gold, the wisdom from which they were drawing their inspiration. How do the Old Testament writers understand the relationship between God and the created world? There's no better place to begin than the Bible's first book, the book of Genesis, to explore that question. So Hull Minster Scientists and Congregations Initiative starts for me in the best place. Like the explosion of matter triggered in the Big Bang, the first few chapters of Genesis catapult information for the understanding of life into the hearts of all who would listen to the wisdom of the ancient world. And in the dominant message there about God and the love between Him and our humanity and the abundant and energetic life of the non-human world, we get some of our clues. The writers of that extraordinary book understand that God has given humans a unique privilege and responsibility to care for, nurture, and nourish all that exists so that it can achieve its fullest potential, and that nothing and no one is cast aside as worthless or hopeless or useless. The development of science in its multiple dimensions is one of the ways in which that realization of all life's potential can be encouraged. Over thousands of years, those with inquiring minds have unlocked some of the many mysteries hidden in the treasure that God has given into our care. Many of them are what we would now call scientists, humbly acknowledging the extraordinary imagination flowing from the heart of God. The writers of Genesis identify the colossal risk that God has taken, and particularly his investment in the central role of humans in his purposes. The early chapters of Genesis reflect on how humans have both risen to face the opportunities and how too we've failed to embrace the challenges. What David Walliams may not have seen is that the Old Testament focuses on fresh starts and new beginnings, just as the New Testament has as its major theme the renewal of humanity and our fresh calling through Christ. So, the Bible is exploring the relationships which express the deepest truths about us, the world, and the God who spoke the word which ushered all of this into life. And day by day, as I read from its hundreds of stories, its poetry, and its wisdom, the question keeps coming back. What is this showing me about God, about us as humans, and what is the good news that's being offered to the rest of the created order? And sadly, day after day, I also realize more and more what terrible damage we are doing to the world for which we've been given responsibility. And I ask, how can these things be reconciled? The Scientists in Congregations Initiative, as well as our wider work here in Hull Minster, are ways in which we are grappling with these questions. We've much to learn from earlier generations and much to contribute to the people of the present and the future as we seek to fulfill the responsibilities that God has entrusted to us. We hope that you'll enjoy the journey with us.